A missions work is important to me because, as I have explained, I had a confrontation with God, and He showed me the nations of the world and told me that I was part of the problem, that if I did not warn the ungodly of his ungodly deeds, that his blood would be upon my hands. Says, you have to go to those people. I didn't want to go, but then I felt I had to go. And so I became a missionary under great stress. And then I met Brother Howard Carter after that. I told him what had happened to me in the vision, and he was just so thrilled he didn't know what to do, because I had the vision about the same time that God spoke to him in London and says, I have a companion prepared for you. He should come from afar. He will be a stranger when he comes, and this is what he'll say. And I said exactly that when I met him at the camp meeting. And so as I went from nation to nation, I began to learn things. And that was that many of them are so lovely and so nice and so gentle. And that much of the propaganda that we hear about nations is not true of the heart of the people. So when you get to know those other people, godly people, good people, they're such nice people. They'll give you anything they have. They'll give you more than they ought to give you. They're so friendly and so good. And so we just began by going from country to country, first with Brother Carter. And when the war came, he refused to leave London. He says, I'll stay right here. I will not run away from my students. If they bomb us, let it be. And they bombed them. That bomb hit that school building, split it wide open like a big butcher knife down through it. You could walk through the hole where there were two sides. One went that way and one went that way. Split it wide open. And the next day, of course, the government took it down, and it's gone. It is gone. So he stayed in England all during the war, and I went to Alaska and raised up 3 new churches. Went into Latin America, beginning in Mexico, spent over 2 years, going right from every country, from Mexico to Argentina, preaching the gospel and holding crusades in those countries. And the further I went, the more I liked it, you know. And I wrote a book, Through Blood and Fire in Latin America. Zondervan published it, and it was a bestseller. And it was just stories that I had experienced down there. And so it became almost a fascination to meet people, to know people, and to love people. And I found people so similar all over the world, you know, until I said, there's not a great difference, not as much as people think there is, between people. The first thing they have to know is, can they have confidence in you? And do you have a good reputation? Do you speak the truth and not lies? And then if you're sincere in what you're saying to the people. And once you get past those little barriers, you get right down into the hearts of those people. So whether I'm in Iceland, and I have preached there, or whether in the tip of South Africa, at the bottom of South Africa, or whether we're preaching there, the spirit of humans is so similar. I used to think when I was a boy, because Russia was so roughshod in 1917, you see, I was born in 1913, to 13, 14, 15, 16. I was only 4 years old when Bolshevism was born in Russia. And so I grew up here reading the terrible stories of massacre and killing and all. And then when Stalin got a hold of it, of how many people died. And so when I got to living with the Russians, first in Manchuria, where they were what we call white Russians, they were not communists. Then when I went through Siberian Russia by train and got into Poland, what used to be Poland, I went to Minsk and went up and down from Lithuania, clear down the border line, and there are hundreds of thousands of Russians there at that time. And we slept with them and ate with them and laughed with them until we found out that they were the sweetest people that you could ever imagine. And we found that from country to country. I'm sure I should have written more books about people themselves, you know, because the average, you know, even rough people like Tibetans, when we preached in Tibet, one of them stood up and says, "We have to give you some money." And I said, "What for?" "Oh," they said, "but you preached to us. We want to give you money." And the man I had with me there, my interpreter, he passed a little basket around. And those Tibetans with dirty little bills and coins that have holes in the middle of them, little square holes, put their money in. And then I would hug them afterwards, and you could see they were deeply touched. So we discovered that they were lovely people. Of course, I have met their high people too. I've been with the Dalai Lama and made a 2-hour tape with him, he is the top man in Tibet. Of course, the Chinese took it away from them right now, and he is the head priest of all of Buddhism. He's number one. And brother, he gave me his scarf. I still have it right here in this city. He gave me his prayer shawl, and I haven't even had it pressed. All the wrinkles that the Dalai Lama put in it are still there. He took it off of his neck, and he said, "I wouldn't give this to anybody in the world but you." He says, "It's sacred to me," the prayer shawl. And I still have it. He gave it to me. And so I have discovered that the world, and on any part of the world, has a lot of nice, lovely, kind people in it.